Welcome back to the channel for another video of my time in Japan in 2024. In this video, we are returning once again to Kyoto to finish up my first trip to Kyoto on this trip to Japan. I think I've actually got another one or two videos after this one just to finish up this day of exploration. This was by far and away the biggest and busiest day of exploration during my entire time in Japan in 2024. I think I logged about 35,000 steps walking around Kyoto, just freewheeling it, following my nose, letting the winds take me where they would, and seeing all kinds of amazing stuff like this temple. This was really interesting. This one actually cost a few hundred yen to get into, but the ticket I bought got me entrance not only to this, but also another place in Kyoto. I think it was the Zen House, which will be in a future video. Definitely worth it. If you're thinking of doing it, definitely do it. This sort of struck me as like a compound. It was all walled off on a couple sides, and inside were a series of buildings. There were some religious buildings. It looks like there was even some residential buildings up in the hills. Maybe it was like where the monks lived. I really don't know. I really should look up the Wikipedia page for this and learn more about it. But what I do know is that it was absolutely stunning to walk the grounds. It felt absolutely surreal. It was either a movie set or a video game or something like that. It was just so, it sounds cliche to call it immersive because that makes it sound fake, but it was so great and it was just so 360. Like everywhere I looked, it felt like I was transported back in time. For this video, I'm trying something new, and what I've done in order really to just document it for my own purposes is dig up the name places for every single site I visited. So each time the video shifts to a new location, I've got the name of it in the lower thirds. So if that type of stuff is interesting to you, if you want to plan a travel itinerary around this, hopefully those place names will be of help. I think with that said, I'm just gonna let it run. There's not really much more I can add to the video. It really just speaks for itself. I will double down on what I said in an earlier video, which is if you're going to Kyoto, get there as early as you possibly can. It really crowds up in the morning and it gets very hectic, but that's what makes little side trips like this great. You don't really see a lot of other people in this video. It seems to me that the tourist crowd tends to stick to the main drag. They want to hit all of those little shops, do little curated experiences, and I think things like this, where it's very historical and sort of very leisurely and a little bit off the beaten path, they tend not to be as popular. Good news for me is those are things I tend to gravitate to. So as the video goes forward, you'll notice that at the end, I visit a temple that's pretty packed, but throughout, there's things that are not as densely packed. So for me, that was great. If that's your thing, you know what to do. This was another shrine or temple I found up in the mountains a little bit. I had to ascend up a path to get to this place. And man, am I so glad I did. There was a giant necropolis up behind it, and just a beautiful, serene, isolated little temple up in the hills behind Kyoto. Another thing, you know, there weren't signs, or I'm sure this isn't a big tourist destination. And you can see by the density of the people there that there's not a lot of people there. When we go back down to the streets of Kyoto and the city, there's a lot of people there that day. It was a very busy day, but up in these little isolated places, you can really escape from that tourist madness if that's what you want. And just down at the bottom of the hill, this really great little park where you could feed the koi. A lot of people doing photo shoots around there just because it was so pretty, and it was a really great looking, serene area. And this was sort of my last stop in the video before I headed into this shrine, which was one of the bigger shrines that I saw in Kyoto, with you know, these main buildings in the center, and then around the outskirts, like you see right here, a series of smaller shrines just all over the place, very densely packed with things to see. All right, that brings us to the end of another video of Kyoto exploration. Still a little more to come. Stay tuned, like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, we will see you for the next one.